Almost everything you own is made in China. Take a second to look at your phone, look at your laptop, check the label on your underwear. It all says made in China. In the 80s and 90s, made in China used to be something we joked about, and now the best products in the world are all coming out of China. Recently, I ordered a Lemetric smart clock I thought from a US company made in a US manufacturing plant. It turns out these guys are based in Ukraine, they have a manufacturing plant in China, and it was shipped directly to my door. This blew my mind about what the future is going to look like, so I wanted to go to China to learn about the whole manufacturing and production side of one of the most impressive countries in the world. Let me give you a quick geography lesson because I had no idea where any cities were in China. This place is huge. There's almost 1.4 billion people. We got Shenzhen, which is where all the manufacturing happens in the south. Right across from the border is Hong Kong. Beijing is up in the north. That's where the Olympics were. And so is Shanghai, which is supposed to be an amazing city as well.
Going to China, 6:50 a.m. Pretty excited.
So I arrived around midnight and walked around Hong Kong.
Hong Kong morning. There's a lot of Lambos out here. It's crazy. A lot of different colors. Let's see what it looks like. It looks like Asia.
Day 2. Morning meetup with Nick Gray. I got really close to him on this trip. We went to Wasui for traditional breakfast, and that's instant soup and eggs with bread.
Which is the very famous instant noodles with satay beef and scrambled eggs and some bread and butter.
Next, we went on a dim sum experience tour. Basically, we paid for this lady to take us to a dim sum restaurant. My favorite thing is the Shaolin Bao. Make sure you guys go get that next time you get it. Day 3. Stayed with Nick in a really nice hotel room. Had a raw conversation at the Westin Hotel in Shenzhen. Also had the most baller suite. Then, this is the main event. We got a factory tour of power banks. So this is us walking into the factory. Hello, factory. Hello, happy Chinese people. Yeah, they look just like us. I was actually surprised. They seem happier. They let us just walk right in the factory. We got to get in these suits to make sure there's no static on it.
Air shower.
And this is where they started printing the power banks. Those are those things that you use to charge your phones. You carry them in your pocket on your laptop. So they'd print it on the board from that machine, cut it up. This is laser engraving. I tried to get laser engraved tattoo. They were not okay with that. People seemed all really happy, and they threw everything into these different power banks. Literally, everyone was almost the same, and they just put different logos or stickers on the company. Look, hi, happy worker. The machines were really high budget. A lot of the machines were actually Korean Samsung-based machines to be printing the circuit boards, MIPS, and all the other stuff that they need to make into a power bank. Really pretty cool to see behind the scenes of a factory. You never really get this kind of access. They let us film everything. It was crazy. Another happy Chinese worker. They're doing a lot of QA. I was actually surprised how much testing they did once they made their products. These are people, a lot of hand assembling. They didn't seem tired. They have breaks. They have a great lunch. They have really nice tea, actually. It's an oolong. And then these are the people just putting together different parts of the power bank as you're seeing them go down the assembly line. As you know, China's got over 1 billion people, so it makes it really easy for them to hire a lot of labor at a pretty affordable cost. There's even a thing called ePacket. Hi, Nick Gray. There's a thing ePacket where they can ship things to you really affordably directly from China. As you know, one thing that was interesting is that there's a lot of women in the factory. I think it's 7-to-1 female to male in Shenzhen. There's our buddy Jamie who actually gave us a tour.
What's up? We're in the packaging area now. As Noah said, it's very cold in this warehouse.
The warehouse was actually freezing cold. It was like 30 degrees, which for me, I live in Texas, which is below 0. But they did have rooms that were warm because there were so many people working in there.
I'm actually surprised how good the conditions are. What do you think?
I think yes. I'm not qualified to comment on that.
No, I would say people don't seem unhappy. I thought it was gonna be like really
Right.
dark and
Right.
cramped, and people would be sweating. They just they do work all day.
Yeah. Nobody's crying.
Yeah, and here's all the different power banks that they have. So they're all the same brands that you're buying off Amazon, made at the same exact place with just different types of cases. You can see the girls here putting on stickers. And then what they do is they take them out of the box and go test them in a separate room before they finally package them.
So they test every single power bank that they make. There's a few examples of some getting tested.
Not drug tested, but actually tested to make sure that they can do a full charge off and on. So as you're seeing, China technically has really improved. So over the years, the quality of Made in China isn't a brand that we used to think of as Made in China is not good. Now Made in China is really high quality products, like every phone that one of us has. This is power banks. They're testing them. Next up, we actually got to go check out the DJI tour, which is pretty crazy. That's a friend of a friend of a friend who actually was able to take us in there and see all the models. It was one of the most surprising things about DJI is that they've been around over 10 years. Number two was like how impressive their products were. So this is actually an irrigation drone to do farming. This is one for basically killing people, so watch out and protect yourself. So I got some bomb vegetable soup at the electronics market, and we saw the Guohang market. I know I'm saying that totally incorrectly, but this place was insanely impressive. You can find any part for any electronic device you want. So things like the hoverboard, remember that exploded that we had a few years ago? That was there 5 years ago. There was literally hundreds of shops all for iPhone cases and cameras and knives and fidget spinners and whatever you want. Literally thousands and thousands of different markets. So you go there and you actually can negotiate and find quantities to be able to import them to whatever country you want. A few more notable things I got to experience when I was in China. We went on a hike to Victoria Peak in Hong Kong. I highly recommend that. And one of the things about China and Hong Kong specifically is that they have some amazing Michelin star restaurants for really, really cheap prices. So make sure you go try some egg tarts, fried soup dumplings, and their char siu bao and goose at Cam's Goose. So here are 6 traveling tips about if you're ever planning your trip to China. Number 1, go get an APEC card. It's like the TSA pre-check for China. It saved us a bunch of time when trying to cut through lines in Asia. Number 2, find out about SIM cards. My buddy Nick Gray from nickgray.net recommended it. We got 4G cards in the airport, and it was amazingly helpful to have really fast internet connection all throughout Asia. 3, loose connections are massive. What does that mean? Go look on Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you go, and see if people who've traveled to China or live in China and ask for recommendations. We ended up getting factory tours. We got to see DJI and all these things only from friends of friends of friends of friends. Seriously. Number 4, TripAdvisor is huge for international activities. For tours, we did a dim sum experience and recommendations. Check them out when you're doing international travel. 5, if you ever want to go to a gym, just go get a hotel. That was actually what we did a lot of the times, and it was much more convenient over Airbnbs. And number 6, look for local apps. We actually found in Taiwan, there's one called City Mapper, which is not really popular in America, but it's huge over there for traveling around. So always look up local apps when you're trying to do traveling.